Hey guys, thank you for stepping into the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. Um, if you could, please subscribe to one of my number one subscribers, Queen Louie, for his latest videos on how to jiggle car handles to see if they're open, or how to trade your EBT credit for cash for drugs. Let me get right into the business. I wanted to do a assessment of what happened during the fight this weekend between Errol Spence and Sean Porter, but more importantly, the aftermath and what fights we're getting down the pipe or in the future for Errol Spence Jr. Real quickly into the fight, because I don't want to make a fight review video. I'll be candid. I'll be forward in saying that the Errol Spence Sean Porter fight was the fight of the year in my eyes. I don't think it's going to be toppled by any fight this year. I mean, with the exception of maybe Wilder or Ortiz to have that potential of beating that fight. Maybe Andy Ruiz, Joshua Part 2. Part 1, Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua was my fight of the year prior to this weekend. And I think Errol Spence and Sean Porter did more than enough to win the fight of the year. It had all the implications or similar implications. And it was action-packed the whole way through. You had a knockdown. Great fight. One of the best fights I've ordered on pay-per-view. I also, prior to this fight, was bitching that it was on pay-per-view, or I don't know. It just wasn't like... I think it was more like the fact that it wasn't Errol Spence versus Bud, which is like the fight. I was kind of bitching that that this fight was on pay-per-view, but I kind of in hindsight take that all back. Like I mean, the undercard was like there were some fun fights on the undercard, but they didn't have implications. But damn, these fucking stupid bitches outside, man. But at the end of the day, I thought it was worth the money, like, to order that fight, even though I was I didn't feel that way leading up to the fight. Also, I thought that the I would not have been mad with the draw or even a Sean Porter win. But Errol kind of sealed the deal at the end with that knockdown. So kudos to him. But now what was disturbing after the fight was the fact that they had the post-fight interviewer talking to Errol Spence immediately after the fight. Somehow or another, out of shape, puff-faced, Danny Garcia walks into the ring wearing a fucking suit and a turtleneck, which I can't even wear a turtleneck in the coldest of weather, bro. That shit like makes me sweat. This dude's wearing fucking a full sports jacket with a turtleneck, fucking some suede shit in LA weather. It's not even like cold. It's like still September during the fight, and they're somehow trying to steer us into getting ready for a Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence fight in the future. It was later kind of verified to me that fight was close to happening or will happen, because I heard it from Blue Blood Sports TV. And if you could, please subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV. I as far as boxing news goes, you won't get somebody who's more precise and less fluff than Blue Blood Sports, and he's actually accurate almost all the time. So shout out to Blue Blood. But he announced that there was a rumor that was the fight that was going to be made next. To me, that's more in the line. I mean, I putting mandatories aside and whatnot. I mean, if Danny Garcia is the number one mandatory, I mean, it's not like he just made this like resounding case like that he should be the WBC number one contender or mandatory, whatever the hell have you. Danny Garcia is not that guy. I don't care what his ranking is. Like, I mean, I didn't hear anything of a mandatory obligation that needed to be fulfilled. But that's just not the fight. I mean, it's not the fight for me, and it's a whack fight. And even more gross about that situation is that they're gonna charge pay-per-view for that fight, according to the news that Blue Blood had reported. Like that's fucking terrible. I mean, like, and what I meant to mention with as far as the post-fight interview was there was like zero mention of fucking Bud Crawford like down the pipe. I mean, I thought like from the interviews that I had seen on YouTube and whatnot from Errol was that he was intending on chasing that Crawford fight. Like, yeah, don't even mention him like post fight, and we're gonna get fucking Danny Garcia, and I'm fucking Danny Garcia might be one of my favorite fighters, and I'll be the first to tell you that Danny Garcia ducks, but I like Danny Garcia honestly because I like his dad. His dad reminds me of my dad. May he rest in peace. Um, just a vulgar fucking Puerto Rican cat, and Danny Garcia looks like my son. You know, dark haired Puerto Rican cat, light eyes, like So I always kind of rooted for him. And not that much representation for us hood Puerto Rican cats like on TV and in sports. So I mean, like I'll get behind that, no doubt. But I'm not gonna fucking get behind you to the point that I'm paying pay-per-view money for you to fight somebody when there's another fight that should be taking place with that person. And Danny Garcia showed no intention of wanting to fight Errol at any point up until now. And I mean, like, Danny Garcia is holding no belts. I mean, like, what the fuck I want to see that fight for? Like, I mean, that fight would be cool, like, for free. I mean, even then, I'd still, like, probably bitch a little bit about having to watch that fight. Or that fight being a roadblock to a Crawford, Errol Spence fight being made. I don't know. I just thought, like, that maybe just make it seem like you're fucking chasing the Crawford fight for a few weeks at least, and then, like, then just roll out the reasoning that he's on Top Rank and you're on PBC. Like, I mean, and I understand that stuff too. I mean, I'm not saying that that it should be used as a crutch or a total cop out. Like, I mean, and if you really, really, really want to fight, but at least give that little reasoning to me down the line, like, fucking, tell me, like, in January that or fucking tell me in November that we can't make this fight because fucking Bob Arum is being an asshole, and that's a fight I really want, but I guess we're gonna have to wait for some time down the line, like maybe till he's a free agent. I'm down for all that shit, but you're rolling fucking Danny Garcia out into that ring looking like utter fool, fucking and make no mention of it. Like, I mean, like, either your interviewer is like fucking completely living in a cave or dumb, which I don't think she was. I mean, like, unless they fed her the lines as to what to say, like, about her fight assessment or assessments as far as Errol working the body, which she mentioned, and all this stuff. She has to know who the fuck Bud Crawford is, like everybody else in the boxing world knows who he is. And Errol Spence knows who he is too. Like, fucking, you make no mention of that. I mean, like, take that time to fucking make a mention of the fact that that Bud Crawford is on the wrong side of the street, but that you're still willing to work for, like, work towards that fight, yada yada yada. Say anything, but don't give me Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia got beat by fucking the guy you just beat. Danny Garcia got beat by another guy who was avoiding you, and Keith Thurman. I mean, Danny Garcia is has a great resume, but shit, I mean, that's more of a great resume, like, pre-2016. We're about to go into 2020 in a few months. Yeah, but that's all, man. I mean, like, I'm not going to be complicit in fucking supporting this fight. I'm not going to drum up this fight with the exception of bitching and moaning here and there. Like, fucking, I'm not going to be complicit in fucking endorsing a Danny Garcia Errol Spence match. And congratulations to Errol Spence on winning or unifying or coming close, taking steps closer to unifying the division. Kudos to him. I got a lot of love for Errol. I've been seeing him fight since he was a youngster. But I think if he beats Bud, he could fight all the Danny Garcias, and rematches of Porter, and those fights will be humongous. Like, when you're the unified champion, like, like, once that business gets done, like, fucking you know, I'm down for supporting any fight, like, cause you know when you unify the division, every fight's big, like fucking So wait to fight the Danny Garcias and the Thurmans of the world after the fact. I mean, like the only fight that I would put in front of like like Bud Crawford is if like there was an immediate fucking call for Manny Pacquiao to fight Errol Spence, and I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Manny Pacquiao doesn't want anything to do with Errol Spence, like fucking because he would get beat by Errol Spence. But shit, man, at least give me the allure like that you're fucking trying to make a fight happen for fucking with Bud Crawford. All right, with that, I'm out. Thank you for checking me out. Subscribe to Michael Johnson Boxing Talk More, Lowe's Dawkins the Pimpin'. Make sure you join us when we do the only UK and America live show whenever we go on fucking, which is usually at random times. Peace.